Hey everyone, welcome to the Get Your Life Together Girl Mini Mindset Reset. I'm your host, Danielle. As a cognitive behavioral therapist, a life coach to women, and author, one thing has become abundantly clear. So much of what gets in our way in our daily lives is not only how we think, but what we think, our mindset. Because of that, every other week, I'm taking your requests and questions and handing over quick, easy to use, practical strategies and life tools to help you shift your thinking, create calm, help you understand and express your emotions, harness your inner power, and learn how to navigate your personal story in 15 minutes or less. After all, how else can you get your life together? So let's shift your perspective with the tools and conversations that help you in the throes of change. The Get Your Life Together Girl podcast mini mindset reset starts right now. Your thoughts can and do at times own you. There are many times where we have had negative thoughts or negative experiences where the thought is actually worse than the experience itself. And there are many ways to get ahead of that mind of yours, but of course it takes work. And that always leads people to ask, how? How do we get into a space that we do not allow our thoughts to own us? Lauren from South Carolina wrote in and said, Danielle, I've heard you talk about breaking everything down into facts when you're going through a hard situation. I believe you said it's important to ask questions to find the facts, but honestly, I'm struggling with the questions. Maybe that sounds dumb. Of course it doesn't, Lauren. But I don't know what to ask myself. I can generally come up with the facts, but then sometimes I feel like they're not actual facts. Maybe they're opinions, or maybe they're just how I feel about the situation, which I know you've said feelings are also not facts. So I'm kind of lost. Can you help me with the questions so that perhaps I can make the thoughts a little easier and processing won't be so difficult? Lauren, I actually love this question. Thank you for sending it in. It is one that is very important. And of course, let's talk about questions. Let's talk about the critical thinking skills that are necessary to get the thought process in a space that it doesn't own us and that we have full accountability to how we show up. And so that also means full empowerment as to how we show up. So remember when you were in elementary school and you had to do writing assignments that were put through that frame of who, where, what, how, and when? When we talk about our thoughts and we're breaking everything down into the facts, we really need to go back to that elementary thought process and break down the moment. So say a hard moment comes in. Let's say that a friend is upset with you because they heard that you mentioned something important to someone else and it wasn't yours to share. Okay? That is our framework. That's what we're going through today. Just a random example that I pulled from the sky. So we would start with our critical questioning. This is also something I call discovery questions. You've heard me say those before if you've listened to any of the episodes. Discovery questions are these pieces that go just a little bit deeper than the initial question. So let's start with who. Who is involved? That is an important piece to break everything down into the facts. Well, it's me and this other person and my friend. So there's three of us. That first question is just an initial question. When we talk about the discovery question, we get down to the critical thinking part, we would take the who a step further. So grab your pen, guys. Let's get this down so that you can use this in the long term of any situation, because this applies for anything, okay? So some who questions would be, who does this impact? In our situation, obviously it impacts you, it impacts the person that's in question, and the friend that is initially asking, did you say something about me that I didn't want you to? And then the next question would be, who benefits from this conversation? And you can even say who actually, we're going to use the word suffers. I don't really love that word because I don't think it's actually necessary to use in this situation, but a lot of times that word helps people kind of put a thought process that's a little bit more intense into the moment. So who benefits and who suffers from the situation? And then this is a very important question. Who is behind it? Okay. So in our situation, who does this impact? The three people. Who benefits? Maybe the person that is saying that you're talking about them will benefit from your relationship not being as strong with your initial friend, right? Who suffers? That would be me. And then the who is behind it, well, again, it might be the person that is saying you said something, or it might even be you if you have some responsibility for doing the thing that you are being asked that you did. Let's move on to the what. So on your piece of paper, just put what, and we're going to give 3 sentences that will help break down the initial what. So an initial thought is, well, we have the situation where someone thinks that we're talking bad about them. Let's go to the discovery pieces, though, and we would say what perspective or facts are missing or being silenced. That last part is so important, okay? What thing do I not have all the information about? And are thoughts or feelings or facts being omitted from the conversation? Really important so that you get down to really understanding what is all of this really about. The next what is, what do I know? What do I know to be truthful in this moment? And you're writing those facts down. And then the next question is, what steps should I be taking to change the situation or to even address the situation? Sometimes we can't change the situation and we just have to simply address it. So what steps should I take? What actions are there? Let's now go to where. And this is important because we're not necessarily talking about locale, but we're talking more about finding a source of action. So where can I get alternative information for this situation? Who else was present? Who else has information that goes beyond my scope of understanding? Or where can I get an understanding about the other person alleging that I've done something so that maybe you gain some more truth or understanding or perspective, right? So where can I get alternative information? And then another question is, where can I source some assistance from, or where can I get someone to help me navigate the current moment? Where are my resources? That's a really great question. Another where is, what is the greatest thing, the greatest situation, the greatest outcome, the greatest potential in the situation that needs to be addressed, to be changed, or to be identified, right? Where is the greatest need? Is it that I need to spend time defending myself? Do I need to take a moment and address my dear friend to let them know sort of my role, or that I didn't say anything, or whatever it is? Maybe it's something that you need to talk about your intention. Whatever it is, think about the where. Where is the greatest need? Now let's go to why. A lot of times when we have really hard conversations, really hard situations, hard thoughts and emotions, we just simply ask that 3-letter word, why, and a lot of times we just say, I don't know. So here, what we want to do, though, is get beyond the 3 letters and into perspective, into understanding. And we ask, why is this important? Why is it necessary that I put my energy and my focus, my attention into this situation? Why? Maybe it's that this relationship with my friend is super important to me, and so it does need my attention. Maybe the why is actually it doesn't need my attention, but now that I know that, I have that in fact, I don't have to spend so much focus and time around it. So why? Why is this important? Then another why is this the case? Why is this situation occurring? Is it that I overstepped? Is it that I was communicating with someone who I didn't really know? is the why because someone misinterpreted what I said or did? Why? Get down below the 3 letters and get into the fact and the understanding. And sometimes we do realize that we don't always know why, but at least give yourself the opportunity to explore it beyond the, I don't know, this is unfair, I don't like this, that initial reaction to why. Now, we have 2 more left, when and how, and let's go to when. When is one of those questions that often comes in as a positive and a negative, right? So when will this be over? When will I see the result? When will this change? Or even when did this particular thing occur? And those are baselines. So we want to get below that baseline of when would it be time for me to take action? Do I need to sit? Do I need to go through my feelings before I have a negative reaction? Do I need to have a plan in place? So when would be a good time to take action? When would this action benefit me? Those 2 questions are so important. You know, sometimes the when is much further out, and so my action is to take a stance back and be silent for a little bit so that I can watch the situation unfold. The next piece to that is when would I initiate the where and why? So important because this gives you the ability to create a plan and a path forward. And we're using what we've already come through, our understanding, our evidence, our facts, to our benefit. So when would it be time for me to take action? And when would I most feel the results of this? Again, that's a little bit of forecasting because we don't always know. But at least this gives us a little bit of thought pattern to get into a place where we're allowing ourselves to know that there is an end to the situation. Now let's go to the last question, which is how. How did I reach this conclusion? This is one of the most important questions because if we ask that and we slow down enough to really get down to what did I do here, it allows us to know if we're in the fact phase or not, right? Am I really just jumping to conclusions? How? I just know. That's not enough fact. That's not enough evidence that allows us to really move forward with a grounded plan. So how did I reach this conclusion? One of the most powerful thought patterns in our critical thinking that we could ask ourselves. The next how would be, how would I view this if I wasn't the one in the experience? Very important. Would I see this from a different perspective? Would I come to a different thought process? Would I find a different result if it wasn't connected to me? Very, very important. A question we do not ask enough and something that you must get into a space of asking. How can I view another alternative to my thoughts? I hope that this really gives you a space of new thinking, a new way to get into those discovery questions, regardless of any situation. Who, what, where, when, why, how, all of those really get into a space where we can break down any moment for any reason and give ourselves the ability to see something from a different angle in a healthier way, in a way that we don't borrow trouble and create additional issues that didn't even belong to the moment anyway. Yes, your thoughts can own you, but this is the how to stop allowing them to run your life. Lauren, thank you so much for the question. I hope this helps you, and I hope that it helps everyone. I dare you, right? I challenge you to use this process in order to best serve your mind, your heart, and your spirit. Thank you so much for listening to the Get Your Life Together Girl mini mindset reset. If you have a subject or a strategy request, email us at getyourlifetogethergirlnow@gmail.com. Or you can visit our website at getyourlifetogethergirl.com. If you're looking for daily inspiration or tips and tools, join the growing community at Get Your Life Together Girl on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Thank you for being a valuable member of this community. Until next time, be kind to yourself and others.